Well, good morning. It's Saturday. It's mid-morning right now, going on about 10 o'clock. And I gave it just a little bit longer than what I've been running the last couple days. I've been running about 9 o'clock the last few mornings and found a couple birds, but I feel like I just haven't given the birds quite enough time to get out, do their thing, and then end back up in the cover. So this morning gave it just a little bit longer, and like I said, it's 10 o'clock now, so I'm gonna collar up one of the dogs and go see what we find today. I'm back at a spot that's got a pretty good mix of everything that I'm looking for. It's a little windier today, and there's a big pine stand on the back of this aspen cut. There's two cuts here. One's a little bit younger and one's an older, mature cut. So I've got the balance between the two cuts in this spot, and then there's some food that I've seen around in the area just driving through. And so, yeah, gonna go drop one of the dogs in here and see what we come up with. Just another spot that I haven't been to before, and just continuing on with the trend with my little Northwoods trip here this week of just bouncing around to different spots. So always fun exploring, and we're gonna see what we find. Does anybody else have a dog that tells them when they're ready to go? Easy, girl. I know. We're gonna go. Here. Heel. Good. You ready? Aspen. I always love the enthusiasm, girl. Dead bird. Dead bird. Good girl, Aspen. Fat chair. I took a tree out and the bird. Good girl, Aspen, right here. Fat chair. Nice work, girl. Fetch. Good girl. Give. Nice work, Aspen. Good job, Aspen. A little bit of a fan. Nice bird. Nice point. Good job. Yeah, she had been right over in here, and she was real birdie tracking something. So when the dog does that and I see it doing that, I usually just stop. There's no point in me just keeping to walking forward into something like that when the dog is working something. I want the dog to figure it out. So she came back to the first spot where she initially found the track and then worked it out to the trail, came back, and she stopped on point right here, right in front of me. And as I walked up, I saw the bird get up out of this pine tree, and she did too. She broke point when the bird took off, and it flushed. And I took this tree out and the bird. So my motto is just to shoot. And as you can see right here, I clearly took a tree out, but I also took the bird out. So that's why I'm shooting these open chokes and number 8 shot. A lot of shot in that pattern. One more thing, repeat after me. And I've been telling myself this the entire time. The birds are on the trails. That's pretty much where I've been getting all my bird contacts at, is just off of trails. I've done some wandering into stuff, swamps, cuts, pine thickets, and I keep coming back to the trails and I keep finding birds along the trail edges. Good job, Aspen. Just heard a drummer, and he's straight in front of us up here. Well, I found the drummer on his log. Right where the dog's at, I look over and I see him sitting on that log. He took off and I missed. Oftentimes with grouse hunting, you go on a long walk, you move a lot of birds, but you don't get many good shooting opportunities, or you don't come out with any shots at a bird or anything in the bag. But today was kind of the opposite, this walk I just did. We took a long hike and we only moved 2 birds back here, so not a whole lot of action, but Aspen did point that one bird nicely on the side of the trail. I connected on it, and then this other drummer that was up here, that was too funny. We were almost back to the truck and I heard that bird drumming, so we went in its direction, and right about where I thought he would be, I see this fallen down big pine tree on the ground. And I'm looking at this log and I'm going, I feel like that could be the log that he was drumming on. So I swung around to it and I poked my head around of a tree, and there he was. We both made eye contact at the same time. It was just kind of one of those moments, is like, there you are, and there you are. So he turned around, took flight, and I threw a shot at him just for the heck of it, and I was behind him. But anyways, that was our walk this morning, so now I'm gonna jump back into the truck and go find something else to hunt. Ember. To bird. We'd been coming through here. Dog got a little birdie down in this. And just as she was doing that, I looked up and saw this apple tree and was like, nice. Here, there's apples in here. She goes on point. I take a few more steps up. Good girl. Give. Nice work. I take a few more steps up, and this bird got right out of this tree on this limb. And I got just a glimpse of it, and I shot where I thought it was gonna be, and dog came back with it. Here's another thorn apple tree. It's got a lot of food on it. A few of them in this area. So I'm just kind of trying to meander through this. Let the dog work it. There's lots of apples mixed in. Hopefully we find some birds feeding. Ember's on point in here, just off the edge of this opening I've been working. She's in the cover. Right there. Ember's in here. She's on point. She's been standing this point for a minute. She made a big 200-yard cast, circled back into here and went on point. Dead bird. Ember, dead bird. Did we get it? I don't really know. I think we missed it. Sorry, girl. You stood there for a long time. Oh, we got it. Good girl. Fetch here. Nice work, Ember. Fetch here. Good job, girl. Right here. 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 Give. Nice work. Good job. I thought my shot felt pretty good on that, and I was right on the bird when I shot. So we did get it. Nice work, Ember. Whew. That took me a minute to get to her. Woodcock surprised me a little bit. I was expecting a grouse back here. Well, we didn't see or move a whole lot of birds today, but when we got opportunities, we made them count. I went 2 for 3 shooting at grouse today, picked up a woodcock this evening as well. It wasn't the most action-packed day, but I had some good dog work and the birds that we did come across, and I made my shots count, so that always feels good no matter how many birds you see. I was planning on staying where I'm at for the night, but I'm not real crazy about this spot. I only moved 4 grouse tonight. That's not to say there isn't more birds in the area, but I just didn't come across exactly what I was hoping to find. So I think this evening I'm gonna get back in the truck and go drive around a little bit while we got some daylight still and try and find something for tomorrow morning and set camp up there for the night. So I'll see you guys in the morning. What do you say, bud? You ready to go find some grouse? Come here, Yeti, heel. I'm in an area that I've hunted before in the past, and I'm gonna try something a little bit different than how I've hunted it before. There's birds in the area, I know there is, but I'm gonna try and get into a few different spots where I think I can find some birds that have maybe escaped from the pressure in the area. So I'm gonna run this little draw right here that's full of apples, and it leads back to an older cut. So we're gonna give it a shot and see what we find. You ready? Yeti. This whole area is just loaded with these hawthorn apples back here. Cover looks good. Looks like I'd hope it too. Yeti's been working something right over here, and he just locked up on point. There he is right there. He's facing this way, so I'm gonna swing out through here. What is it, buddy? Is it a woodcock? I don't know, buddy. Yeti. Yeti. He doesn't want to move. There it was. It was a woodcock. Pretty sure I missed though. Yeti's on point up here, 45 yards away. Dead bird. Dead bird. Dead bird, find. Good boy. Give. Nice work. Good job, Yeti. Big mature male. Nice work, bud. Nice work. I got a piece of it. We're gonna have to follow up on that bird. I hit it and I watched it go whoop, straight up in the air. We did a pretty good search for that bird I just shot at. And I know I didn't hit it with a lethal shot, but I thought it was worth following up on the bird, at least to see if we'd come across it again where it landed, or just in case I did hit it good enough and it was in here laying somewhere. So we're gonna keep moving on. All right, just when I said we were finished looking for that bird, the dog gets birdie and goes on point here. He's working something now. Oh, we got it. Good boy, we did. Oh man, come here. Good job, Yeti. Wow. Good job. Give. Nice work, man. This bird was laying dead here. I got a headshot on it. Wow. I just said we were done looking for the bird. And we are probably, gosh, we're probably 250 yards from where Yeti pointed this bird and I shot at it. And I knew I hit it and I watched it go straight up in the air. And just when I said we were done looking for it, the dog got birdie and started pointing over here, and he picked it up, just laying dead as can be here. Wow. Nice work, Yeti. Nice gray fan on it. Oh man, nice point. I made a good shot. We just had to work for the recovery a little bit. Crazy. This is why I follow up on birds though. A lot of times I'm shooting at stuff or just catching glimpses of things, and regardless of whether I actually think I hit the bird or not, I will follow up on it for a good ways, just because you never know. And I mean, like I said, we're 250 yards from where I shot at this bird. It went a long ways. It coasted dead a long ways probably, and it just landed here, fell out of the sky. Good job, Yeti. Good job. You my man. You my man. Oh, turning nothing into something. You're always doing that, Yeti man. Ember. Whoops. There it goes. Right there. Fetch here. Good girl. Fetch here. Good girl. Good work. Good job. Good girl. Nice work, Ember. Nope, I missed. Good job, girl. I saw the bird sitting on the ground right there, and my eye just never left the bird. It kind of got into some cover and it was gone. Good work, nice point. Ember's been working through here and she just ended up on point. This is kind of a low area. It's got this little swampy edge to it. She's on point right up here. Dead bird. I did not reload my first barrel again. No, wait, I did. I did reload it, but I had a misfire. You can see the dent there on the primer. Second barrel went off, and I hit it on the second shot. I've never had that happen before. Ember, here. Atta girl. Good job, Ember. Good. Good girl, good. Fetch, here. Good girl. Here. Hugh. Fetch. Good girl. Nice job. Good job. I haven't gotten into a whole lot of woodcock on this trip. I haven't necessarily been looking for them. But if there's a woodcock around, Ember usually finds it. Ember's now on point in here. She's 50 yards away. Man, I'd really like to get a good grouse point and shot over her. She's been running nice. I see her. She's right there. I'm gonna keep her. No, I'm gonna go to her. There it goes. I missed it. Good job, girl. Good job. I had a good look at it, and I just didn't get my head down right. Ember's on point in here. There she is. Dead bird. Dead bird, find. Dead bird, find. Good girl. Fetch. Here. Good job, girl. That's our limit of woodies. Come here. Here. Good job. Hey, good job, girl. Nice work tonight. Got us our limit of woodcock. Nice job, girl. Missed a grouse with you. You've been pointing some woodcock. What do you say? It's been a good walk tonight. Wish we would have ran into a few more grouse. But you've been sticking every bird that we came across. Good job, girl. Good job.
I've got a question for you guys. I want to know if you run a bell on your dog or you don't run a bell when you're grouse hunting. So drop it down in a comment below and let me know why you do run or don't run a bell. I have not been running a bell the last 2 years. I used to run a bell on my dogs, but I've since then, the last couple years, strayed away from that, and I enjoy running them without a bell now. And I'm going to talk about that at the end of this video. So let me know why you guys do or don't run a bell. And I'm going to get into my pros and cons of running a bell or not running a bell at the end of this video. It's Monday, October 16th, and it's now our last day of hunting up here. I've had 5 really good days of hunting, and hopefully we can end today on a good note. Conditions seem pretty good, weather's good. Yesterday I came out to this area where I'm at right now, and I ran Yeti here, and we ran into a pretty good amount of grouse back in a spot. I took Ember out, and I got 1 shot at a grouse, and she pointed my limit of woodcock that I shot for me. So got into a few woodcock on that walk, did some shooting, and so yeah, right now I'm gonna go out and run Yeti this morning, and then I'm gonna try and end the day at a spot that I know that I hope is gonna produce some birds for us. I'm gonna go see what we find today, and then at the end of this video I'm gonna come back and talk about my pros and cons for running a bell up here in the grouse woods. This is always a welcoming sight to see as a grouse hunter when you run into a little thicket like this that's loaded with so many hawthorn apples. Grouse candy. Yeti just stopped right here in front of me. Right here. He says it's right here. What do you got, Yeti man? I see the bird. It's a woodcock. It's sitting right here on the ground in front of me. Right there. Good boy. We're gonna let that one fly to see another day. Come on, Yeti. My GPS is telling me he's right here, but I can't find him. Oh, there he is, right there. Dead bird. Come on, dead bird. Good boy. Right here. Give. Good boy. Okay, we're on the board for the day. I passed the last one. This one, dog was on point nicely. I decided to take the shot. Yet he stopped just off the edge of this trail. He's on point. He's right here. There he is. Two birds got up. Yet he's right there.
Come here. Bring. Give. Nice work, Yeti. We haven't gotten the grouse shot that I've wanted to on this walk, but I have done some shooting. Missed a pair of grouse. Shot a couple of woodcock. Yeti's on point down here. There he is right there. Right there. Man, that bird sure pulled some moves on me. It got up right here and I had a good look at it, but then it twisted and turned behind these trees and I took a shot, but I don't think we got it. You ready? Aspen. Dead bird. Wow. Fat chair. Oh man, I can't believe that. That was wild. Good job, girl. I don't think I've ever had a bird fly at me like that. Aspen hooked out of this trail. She goes on point. I start walking to her after I got the GPS notification. The bird gets up and it damn near smacks me in the face. Dead bird, fat chair. Dead bird, find. Hey, good girl. Fat chair. Good girl. Here. Fetch. Here. Good job, girl. Give. Good job, girl. Nice work. Nice work. Field goal post on the fan. I can't believe that bird flew right at me like that. That is crazy. Right there. Whoa. Woodcock, I missed. Aspen's on point in here. I'm circling out. Hey, good job, girl. Here. Here. Right here. Good job, Aspen. Give. Good job, girl. Good job. That's our woodcock limit for the day. Good job. Good job. Aspen was on point just in the edge of this here, and I walked up and 2 woodcock flushed right in front of me. Good job, girl. Aspen's right here. Woodcock. Wow. Good girl. Good job. Good. Good girl, Aspen. Got a woodcock sitting here, girl. Yep, there it goes. Good job, girl. Good. Good girl. Well, that's it. That's gonna wrap up our week in the Northwoods here of hunting. Had a really good time. Got into quite a few birds, and there was a few trends that I picked up along the way and I tried to stick to when I was finding birds, and it resulted in me finding some more birds. So once you find something that works, just stick to it. Take what you learned from one piece of cover and try and relate it to the next. And that's all I was doing on this trip. I was finding birds in certain spots and I was trying to relate it to the next spot that I was looking for hunting, and it worked out good for me. I got into quite a few grouse, a few woodcock here and there, not a whole lot of woodcock, but I wasn't necessarily looking for woodcock. So I'm out here looking for grouse, and if I happen to stumble into a woodcock now and then, that's the way it goes. And that's kind of usually how I roll, hunting for grouse, and you'll find a woodcock here or there along the way to shoot at. Dogs did really good on this trip. So yeah, now I'm gonna point the truck south and head home. I'll be back up here at some point here. I'm not exactly sure when, but I will be back up at some point within the next week or two. The best is still yet to come. I mean, some of the leaves and foliage are just gonna keep falling off for the next 2 weeks, and things are only gonna get better. So bird numbers are looking good, and I'm excited to get back here. I just enjoy these types of trips, bouncing from spot to spot and doing exploring and just staying in my truck, doing truck camping. If you guys wanna see my setup in my truck, go back to our first video from this year, scouting for sharptails and huns on the prairie. And in that video, I talk about my whole entire truck setup and how I'm doing this, and just basically traveling and sleeping in my truck while I'm doing these types of hunts. So if you guys want to see how I'm doing that in my truck, go check that video out. And like I said, I'm going to point the truck south, head home. But before this is over, I want to talk about running a bell versus not running a bell on a dog. So we're gonna get into that. All right, I'm gonna start this off by saying there is no right or wrong answer when it comes to should I run a bell on my dog or should I not run a bell on my dog while I'm grouse and woodcock hunting. And so I'm not trying to make this into a debate and, you know, say there's a right or a wrong way of doing it. I just wanna kind of give you guys my thoughts on it of what it's like running a bell versus not running a bell. I've, you know, hunted for years with a bell, and I've also hunted for a few years now without a bell on my dogs in the Northwoods grouse hunting. So just kind of want to give a brief overview of the difference between, you know, making the decision to run a bell on your dog or not running a bell on your dog. There's a few pros and cons to each, and each one can be effective in its own way, depending on your hunting style. So first, let's talk about running a bell on your dog. What are the pros of running a bell on your dog, and why would you run a bell on your dog? Well, the first and foremost thing that comes to my mind of why you would run a bell on your dog, and the biggest pro to it overall, is it gives you instant knowledge of exactly where your dog is at and what it's doing. Just the noise factor alone, you are able to precisely follow your dog, the movements it's making, how it's working something, and how far away the dog is exactly, just based off of the sound of the bell. So that's the biggest thing, and I would assume that's why people for, you know, hundreds of years have been running bells on their dogs while upland hunting, and, you know, more based down into grouse hunting itself, because you're in such thick, heavy cover that, you know, your dog goes more than 30 yards from you and you can't really see your dog anymore and what it's doing. So that bell gives you instant feedback of exactly where your dog's at, where it's heading, where it's moving, and what exactly your dog is doing at that point in time. The bell is super nice when the dog starts working a bird. And this is what I really liked about the bell on a dog. When it started working a bird, I got to the point where I could tell just by the sound of the bell that the dog was working something. It was trailing, it was tracking, the bell was slowing down, it was stopping here and there. So I knew right away that the dog was starting to work a bird. So I could automatically start heading in that direction that the dog was in. Let's say if the dog was, you know, 50, 60 yards away from me, I already had a head start going in that direction towards the dog because I knew it was starting to work a bird. And then all of a sudden the bell would stop, the dog's on point, and I'm already, you know, halfway, I've already cut the distance in half to the dog from where I was at when I first heard it start working something. When I don't run a bell, I don't have that luxury of knowing exactly how the dog is working in real time, because I don't have that noise factor that the bell is giving off to know exactly what the dog is doing in that given second. So that's what I really like about running a bell, is just, you know where your dog is at right away, and you can really, you know, get to listening and learning how the bell sounds on the dog when it's working something, and you get, you know, that instant notification basically of knowing, hey, my dog's working something, I should look at the cover in front of me and figure out how we're gonna do this. So here's what I don't like about the bell, and that is the
constant noise factor. It's just something that I've come to over the years not enjoy as much as I used to. Just whenever I would go out hunting with that bell all day long, I swear for the next 12 hours after I got done hunting, I could just hear that bell ringing and ringing and ringing over and over in my head. And the more I run without a bell, I actually just enjoy the silence. I really do enjoy that solitude of not having any other noise except the woods themselves. And the dogs, I can't even imagine what it does to my dog's hearing. You think about how high the decibel levels are that bell is giving off, and that's going directly into your dog's ears. So I really do think after over a long period of time, years and years and years of use, there has to be, you know, something that bell does to your dog's hearing. Now, as far as birds being spooked by a bell, do I think that there is some level of pressure added to the bird from the bell? Yes, I do. I think the bell obviously adds pressure to the bird, but I don't think it's anything that just makes the bird, you know, take off and fly away as soon as it hears a bird. I think the bell just becomes part of the scenario. You know, the bird is going to hear the bell coming and it's going to get up and move a little bit, and that just all becomes a part of how your dog learns to handle birds. The bell is always part of this situation when you're running it on your dog. So how that bird reacts to that bell is your dog is going to have to learn to react to how that bird is reacting. And that all comes from the pressure that the bell is giving. But I don't think it's just making birds flush way out in front of you because they hear a bell coming through the woods. Okay, so let's talk about the pros and cons of not running a bell. And I've already hinted at a few of them while I was talking about running the bell on the dog, but first thing is stealth. You do have the advantage of the dog going quieter through the woods, not giving up its position, you know, 100 yards away from a bird before it gets to it. You know, those dogs can get a lot closer to birds before the bird realizes that, hey, something's here, something's adding pressure to where I'm at. I need to make an adjustment and move. So the dog is able to get a lot closer to birds before that bird realizes, hey, something's here, I need to do something about it. Now, the second thing that I think is the biggest pro to not running a bell is just how my dogs react to me when I'm handling them. They hear my commands a lot faster and they hear them a lot clearer, and the dog responds to me much faster when it's not wearing a bell. And overall, I'm able to handle my dogs much easier when they're not wearing a bell. It just becomes making commands becomes really clear to them. They understand me and hear me really easily, and I just have an overall better experience handling my dogs when they don't have a bell on them. Okay, so now I'm going to talk about one of the cons that I don't like about running a bell, and this is almost a little bit of a two-way street in an odd way, and that is not having that live updated real-time information of exactly what my dog is doing. Now, I do run a GPS on my dog, so I know exactly where they're at, the direction they're at all times. So that helps me out quite a bit of keeping track of my dog and knowing where they're at without the bell. But what it doesn't give me is the real exact time of what that dog is doing at that exact second at all times, because it is a delay. It's a 2.5 to 5 second delay of how the GPS is updating from what the dog is actually doing. So by the time I'm getting the GPS notification that the dog is on point, or I'm looking down at the screen seeing that it's working something, that dog is already 2.5 to 5 seconds ahead of what I'm looking at on my screen and my GPS. So I do struggle sometimes with, you know, being able to pinpoint exactly where the dog is at when I'm trying to walk in on point, because the GPS only gives me, it only gets you close. It says the dog is exactly this many feet away in this direction, but it's not always an exact measurement. I find, especially in the woods, the GPS struggles to pick up the exact coordinates of the dog's GPS collar on him. When I'm out in the open and the prairie, it does a great job, but when the trees are in play in the Northwoods, it does slow it down a little bit, and sometimes that GPS points in a slightly different direction of what the dog is actually at, and the readings aren't aren't always true, but it gets you close and it gets you in the ballpark, and it's close enough for you to find the dog. But at the same time, I feel like it does make me pay attention to my dogs a little bit more and try and be exactly in tune with what they're doing without the bell, because I have to really listen, I have to really watch for the dog. Where if you're just walking through the woods with the bell on the dog, you're just kind of strolling around and you hear the bell in the distance and you kind of know what's going on. But without that, I have to really focus in on my dog and know exactly what they're doing just by slight little, you know, sticks breaking, leaves crunching, seeing the dog go through something. So I feel like it gives me a lot more situational awareness of forcing myself to know exactly what the dog is doing. And I think I pick up on a lot more things when the dog isn't wearing the bell, because I'm trying to pay more attention to it. So that is one thing that I do like about not having the bell on the dog, is I feel like it forces me to pay a harder attention to the dog. So overall, I've made the decision the last couple years not to run a bell on the dog, just because I like being silent. I don't like hearing that bell clanking around all day long. I hear it in my head for the next 12 hours after I'm done hunting, and it really does concern me what that bell does to my dog's hearing in a long extended period of time, years and years of use. So I think for me, the pros of not running a bell outweigh the cons of running a bell on the dog. That's kind of how I look at it, and that's kind of how I'm going to sum it all up. But I'd love to hear your guys' feedback as well. If you do run a bell or don't run a bell on your dog, just drop a comment down below. I'd love to hear why. And also, if you guys are enjoying these little segments that I'm doing in these videos, you know, talking about scouting, habitat, ammo setups, running a bell or not running a bell on your dog, I've been trying to do one thing like that per video. So if you guys have any suggestions, please feel free to drop it down in a comment below, and I'll try and get to it throughout the year some point when I'm making another video. So I always enjoy hearing what you guys have to say and what you guys want to hear from us in the future. So yeah, thanks again for following along, guys. If you guys have any additional comments, drop it down below, and I'll catch you on the next video.